mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
I woke up, then I logged in to that UrbanX where they be flexing with that blog in. Put it down, cause my little homie called in. Had to bail him out, he in trouble with the law again. Black skin can't win in the white world. Seen a brother kill his own kid for that white girl. We ain't wanna go to school, but we had to. Every February it was scary in them classrooms. Shimmy y'all, shimmy gay. Old dirty bastards can't own dirty slaves, or they own dirty masters. Black Dot found a pot as a youngin', broke it down for his son, and now he serve it to the masses.
Black mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
Yeah.
What's good? What's good?
You already know what it is. UrbanX in the building.
We here, man. UrbanX podcast.
What up to the UrbanX Nation?
What up to the people in the chat? Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, shout out to y'all always.
Y'all on time.
Y'all be on time like good black folk.
Word.
I ain't even gonna lie. That's some good black folk stuff right there.
Word. Shout out to y'all, man.
Peace to the UrbanX Nation. Peace to everybody tuning in. Live, we are glad you are here with us.
Yeah, it was another long week.
Another long week. Another eventful week.
Yeah.
Right?
People losing their mind.
People losing their minds.
And not the people you would think either.
Yeah, that's been the weird part. Like,
yeah.
you know, people who was conscious and double conscious.
Yeah.
And super conscious.
Yeah.
You know, them people was losing their mind. And so today's keyword, you know, I always try to open up with something positive.
Right.
Is free thought. Okay?
Two words.
Two words, free thought.
Yeah.
And I feel it's important to be in search of a free thought.
Right.
To be in search, to think for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
In an era where your thought is being held hostage.
Right. Okay.
Your thought is being held captive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you're on internet and Facebook and all of this stuff, you be into a thought stream that you think is your thought stream.
Definitely.
And it ain't your thought stream.
Yeah.
And by the time you realize you got to swim back to the shore and try to be in search of an original thought. So we going to clap that up.
That was a really good setup.
Yeah.
That was a really good setup.
Yeah, you know, trying to set this off right.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we can get popping.
Oh, you sound kind of far from the mic.
I sound kind of far from the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is a little bit better.
That is.
A little closer. All right. You know, thank you for the, you know, technical support.
Word.
Malcolm is good.
Y'all good? Can y'all hear me?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So, which one to get into first?
Whatever you want to get into.
All right, let's get into some of the calm stuff, I guess. Not calm, but you know.
Yeah, let's throw a few things off the backboard first,
so
to speak.
I think earlier this week, people were losing their mind on Twitter, of course, about Issa Rae.
Yeah.
Saying something about black women should date Asian men.
Right. I heard about that. About that.
Initially, I thought they probably took it out of context. Initially, right? When I first heard, I didn't even know anything about it.
Right.
I was like, they probably took something out of context. I don't think she would just outright say that.
Right.
And then people were screenshotting a paragraph, a small paragraph in her
book
that was published 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Book from 2015.
Right.
And again, this is something I guess you know, people on Twitter, they have like a list of people that just really want to just be mad at a random time.
Yeah. So they just let off on
right
it.
Because when they have a show that she likes, they all for Issa.
They all for it.
She's in Drake's video. They all for her. Oh my God, her smile.
Right.
All of a sudden, you pick out a paragraph out of a book that she published 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you want to be mad. And the thing about the book is it was supposed to be satirical.
Wasn't it like satire?
Yeah,
it's
the whole book.
Funny and this and that.
It's called. Well, I think it was called Awkward Black Girl. That's what it's called.
Yeah. So what's happening now? Everybody's is taking everything so literal.
Keyboard warriors, for real.
Keyboard warriors, and I noticed that people don't read the context of things.
Nothing at all.
They literally read it and just take it at face value. They don't go through the sentence or try to figure out the context of which something. If I pick up a satirical book, that means everything in this shit is funny. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or it's supposed to bring about laughs or, giggles, and then you get serious with that.
And it started causing a debate of, black men versus black women, which is like an age-old...
Yeah, y'all gotta forgive me. I'm up here sweating like a slave. It's 90 in New York City. Now, we got a couple of air conditioners, but it'll mess up the sound in the studio.
Yeah.
So, forgive me. I'm gonna be sweating like a slave.
But like I was saying, it started like the age-old debate on Twitter, the black men versus black women thing. Black men don't like black women.
Aren't we tired of this specific debate?
First of all, it's so made up. You know what I mean? Like the whole argument is so made up. Like if you go by the numbers, majority of black men marry black women.
Yeah, but people on YouTube don't do no research.
No,
and they're not going by none of that stuff.
Yeah.
They just looking at a few celebrities and saying we're losing the war.
And then what happens is they take that and they say, and instead of they take that and say black men hate black women.
Oh, really?
I see that a lot.
Yeah,
and it's a lot from feminist women.
I was going to say, that's a feminist kind of thing.
Yeah.
I saw one white lady who was saying, we need to kill all men. And I was like, what? We need to kill all men? Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how are y'all expecting to be here?
Yeah. Oh, tell us in the chat, are we too loud? Are we not loud enough?
Okay, that's a little bit louder. Tell me, is that it? You know what I mean? Let me know. All right?
Are we good?
We love hearing from the peoples. All right, 1 2 1 2 1 2. I'm trying to turn it up. Thank you. Too quiet. Turn it up. All right. I just turned it up as most as I could turn it up.
Yeah.
Without us
sounding crazy.
Sounding crazy on our end. But let me know. So
again, my whole thing with feminism as I think we got black women got tricked into that whole.
They actually did.
Yeah.
They actually, during the so-called civil rights movement, all of these other people latched on.
Yeah.
And then turned it into something that benefits them. So, thank you out there in the chat, man. We love you.
Yeah. And it was originally, like, if you go do the research, right? It was originally a fight between white women and their husbands. And it had nothing to do with us.
Had absolutely nothing to do with us because I told you before, the white man hates the white woman. You think he loves her, he doesn't. He loves the white boy. Okay? That's his thing. Right?
Yeah.
So, and that played into the election this year. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So when you had Barack Obama, for us, it was an achievement, and for people who dealing with equal opportunity, it was an achievement. But for the underbelly, white America, them whiteys in Nebraska and Omaha, they thought they'd never see the day that a nigger would be in the White House. Yeah. Then, not only a nigger, now there's a white bitch running too, right? Yeah. So that led to Donald Trump.
And you know what's crazy? A lot of white women voted for Donald Trump.
More white women voted for Donald Trump than they did Hillary.
Yeah, that says something.
Oh, that was huge.
That probably says something more about Hillary, but that's another. That's another discussion.
But again, this is how they set that whole shit up. How else could Donald Trump get in? Plus, who did Barack Obama beat? McCain.
Oh, right.
Nigga who could barely move and Sarah Palin. I think me and you could have beat fucking Sarah Palin and McCain. Yeah. So you knew they was hand gifting this shit to Barack. Yeah. Now you got a black man in, and now a white woman wants to run. What's gonna happen after a goddamn white woman? A goddamn gay one of them queers or lesbian thing? I don't know what you call them. Right? That was gonna be next. So the only option they had was Donald Trump. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And as a result, now we have Donald Trump, and we go, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Yep. So what we got next? What we talking about?
Next, there was a campaign started called mute R. Kelly.
Mute R. Kelly.
And you know what's crazy? We were just talking about this.
Last week we was just talking.
Last week we were just talking about this. How
guys, last week was a prophetic show.
For real. Go back and watch last week's show.
Right.
And listen to everything that's been happening. Yeah.
We was right on it.
We was on it.
So what's the deal with the Kells?
They're trying to put pressure on people that booking him for shows. They're trying to put pressure to for them to cancel. They're trying to put pressure on like the streaming services that are monetizing his music.
Okay.
They're trying to shut all of that down, and he called it a public lynching.
He called it a public lynching. Well, what does he think sleeping with young girls is?
Yeah.
And creating sex slaves. What does he call that?
Yeah.
Isn't that a lynching or psychological destroying the mind of children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can't have it both ways. You gonna pay. This Me Too shit is real.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like when they actually gonna get him though.
Oh yeah, well they probably got enough information to get him.
Yeah,
they have to, and now his crew abandoned him.
Yeah,
so now he's on an island.
They probably knew like
once you on an island. And listen, I'm all with, but then don't be hypocritical about it. We can't pick and choose who. If you feel that there was an injustice, don't be stacking the concert at the same time like you don't give a shit. Can't have it both ways.
And like what I saw on Twitter as well, I was seeing like a lot of celebrities who've been quiet for years. Now they all of a sudden mute R. Kelly.
Yeah. You know
what I mean? Like I thought that was whack.
You know what I noticed about most celebrities? Most celebrities are slaves. Mm-hmm. Right?
There goes
That's
that word.
That's going to be the operative word.
Yeah, there goes
slaves,
that word. Yeah.
Right? But they're slaves, they're house slaves, they're house niggas.
Yeah.
Right? They got a few more checks.
Mm-hmm.
We know this. You know what I mean? And when the time is right, they will turn on you quickly.
Right.
When the time is right. Mm-hmm. All right? So we're going to keep that as an operative thing here. Slaves.
Oh.
Yeah. What else we got going on? We're breezing through this because we're going to get to this yay all day shit. It's going to be all yay all day.
Yeah, we just, hitting you with some of the top stuff. So
Bobby would call this hard copy.
Yeah.
Bobby him would say, y'all all right? Y'all all right? We didn't even get to the lecture. It'd be 4 hours. They were doing hard copies. Oh, we didn't even get to the lecture yet. God damn, Bobby is hot in here.
Yeah, the Starbucks, the guys who got arrested in Starbucks, they settled with Starbucks for $1 a piece.
$1 a piece. Big settlement thing. Yeah.
And then, but they agreed to get $200,000 to put into entrepreneurship programs for their city.
Yeah. Let's clap that up.
Yeah.
Now I know people gonna say they could have got more. Anytime you sacrifice yourself for the betterment of your community, $200,000 for young entrepreneurs trying to,
because they could have easily fought and tried to get their own bag.
Got maybe 3 or 4 million, and that one came from the city. That $200,000. That didn't even nothing came from Starbucks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, now you got to lean on Starbucks and say, listen, Starbucks, we need $300,000 for young women who want to build fucking whatever, clothes or start their own business, and that's how you sacrifice.
And you building your community. Those guys, they're part of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, Q Dog. So shout out to them.
Are they a couple?
No. What?
Are they a couple? What? 2 guys?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Right.
We just shouted them out, and you just.
No, I'm asking because I heard that they were a couple. So I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
I'm not trying to use. The inception and throw some shit down in the subconscious mind. Yeah. I'm just sharing what I heard. So then I started checking their body language. In the chat room, if you have some time, pull the 2 guys up, check the body language, tell me what you know. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't like, that they only made $1.
Yeah, but the $200,000, because before I read the entire sentence, I said $1. Like, you're just gonna let the city off for crumbs? Mm-hmm. And then when I heard they was getting $200,000, They could have got more.
Those ain't crumbs.
That's not crumbs when you're talking about helping kids and stuff like that. So, some people call them a sellout. I get it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too mad at that.
All right, so next thing before we get into the smoke, this lady, what's her name? Allison Mack?
Allison Mack from Smallville.
Yeah, she's an actor in Hollywood, and she's being accused of coercing girls into a sex ring in Hollywood.
A pedophile ring. She's been accused and arrested of furnishing children for a Hollywood pedophile ring. Now, you didn't think that they wasn't going to continue handling their business. Hollywood gets down like that.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? I think I've seen one story on this.
Yeah. I saw two. It was on the front of the Daily News. Nobody said nothing about it. I said, damn, that's kind of weird.
But they got Ebro on CNN talking about Kanye.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, Ebro. Yeah. Not Ebro, he's Ebro. Bruh.
Okay.
All right.
So
yeah, she has been providing little kids to Hollywood, preferably probably little boys, because they heavy in the boys. And that's a Hollywood thing. A lot you see going on in Hollywood is strange to regular people, but Hollywood has their own thing and their own set of rules and their own laws. And if one of theirs get caught, it usually was by purpose, or they meant to give a sacrifice. We got to give somebody up. It's like drug dealers who are in cohorts with the police.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the police be like, look, man, you got to give me somebody. So they they call on their man, or they give this dude up, or fake bust. That's all how that works.
Well, the man of the hour, Kanye West.
The man of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, strap on your seatbelts.
We're about to get into it.
We're about to go way in, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like Loaded Lux would say, let me work. All right.
We need some station recognition.
Yeah, we need some station recognition.
You are tuned into the sounds of UrbanX.
I'm sweating. I ain't been doing no pills and no opioids and none of that shit.
Before they started talking to the chat.
Yeah, before they started to chat. That's on opioids?
Yeah.
Nope. Not on no opioids. Okay, listen. I want to set the stage by saying I love and respect you all. My gift is to make complex things very simple. It's not that I think you can't handle the complex things. It's, fuck, I can't handle the complex things. So I chop shit down into little chewable bites, right? And these little chewable bites, I'm sharing with you, all right? So it ain't no ego shit like I'm super deep. No, I can't understand that complex shit. So I'm always chopping and chopping and chopping. With that said, I want to start this off by speaking about heavenly stars and humanly stars.
Where you going with this?
Okay, I'm going to explain this.
Yeah.
We, as celestial beings, are naturally governed by the heavenly stars.
Okay.
Certain star systems we follow. We're from a star system, Sirius B. We're made of stardust. The stars is what connects us. The stars can change our temperament. The stars can empower us. The stars, the North Star is extremely important. Christ's story with Jesus Christ, there was the three kings, which was in essence talking about the three stars. The three pyramids in Egypt are laid out in parallel directly over Orion. You know what I'm saying? Connected to the stars. The simulation, as Kanye West called it, right, has created something called the humanly stars. Now, I call it the Matrix, he calling it the simulation, right? Now, these humanly stars, like the Kanye star, the DJ Khaled star, I still don't know what the fuck he does, the Beyonce star, and et cetera, has cut us off. It's almost like a dome they had put over the earth. Dome, flat earth, I don't know, we're going to tap into some of that, right? And now we are governed by humanly stars.
Okay.
When Tupac died, a lot of people died with him. When Biggie died, I wrote this in Hip Hop Decoded. So now we are governed in a simulation. Like, this shit ain't even real.
Right.
Right? So whenever they move these stars, and I always tell you, they don't have to control millions. They need control over one.
Who has control over
Who has control over millions to control your mood, your temperament, how you feel, if you're happy, what to buy, what to drink, what to drive. And you happen to think that these are your thoughts.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And they know they are not your thoughts.
Okay.
So we're fighting about thought right now. We're talking about thought. So I'm laying that premise out because I'm going to be talking about simulation. I'm going to be talking about false icons and stars. I call them the icons. Right? We're going to be talking about all of that kind of stuff.
And for the people that are listening, he said icon with one hand over his eye.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Icons. One hand over one eye, and I'm spelling cons C-O-N.
Right.
That's the icons who deal in that type of science.
Is everybody in the chat following us?
I hope y'all following us in the chat.
Y'all following?
Because I'm going to be a minute.
Okay.
All right? Like Loaded Luck said, let me work. All right? Now, when Kanye West, first of all, his name, Khan, means king. But it's pronounced K-H-A-N, but it phonetically says Khan, right? Khan. Ye, or you know what I'm saying, means you, right? Or ye, or ye means you. So King you, reverse it, you king. I say King of the West because his last name is West.
Right.
Kanye is King of the West. Now the only other person, and I wrote this in Hip Hop Decoded, the only other King of the West is Jesus Christ in the Western Hemisphere. He is the almighty King of the West. This Western Hemisphere is ruled by Christianity, right? Kanye West is King of the West, right? So when Kanye jumps on the scene and his first song that he comes out with is Through the Wire, right? It's actually a remake of a song called Through the Fire. So I'm going to take y'all to the book of Revelation. Stay with me. I'm going to pull out the good book. You got it.
I'm sweating like a pastor and everything.
I'm sweating like a pastor. Amen now.
Pass the collection plate, right?
Pass that collection plate around in a few more minutes. Let me get working now. All right? So, in the book of Revelations, it speaks of a time when God wouldn't flood the earth. He flooded the earth last time. Now he will kill it by fire. In which everything will fall down, and in those last days, Jesus will walk the earth. So Kanye comes out with his first single, Through the Wire, which is a song about his near-death experience. He should have died, but he didn't. They wired his mouth shut so he couldn't speak the word, right, of God, or whatever the case may be. Boom. His second single was All Falls Down, right? His third single, yep, you guessed it, was Jesus Walks. Now, when I see this happening, whether he knew it or not, I understood with his name being King of the West and him using his first three, you know what I'm saying, breaks down basically, this was a ritual going on, right? And he was living out the mythos of Jesus Christ. He then went and got the big Jesus piece, right? Which he later upgraded to the Horus piece, which is Jesus and Horus is the same thing. Right. If you understand the science, right? And so forth and so on. Now, he is about to live out the mythos of Christ to the very end. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. They are about to crucify Kanye. We are now throwing stones at him as we speak. We throwing stones at this nigga. You know what I'm saying? This nigga crazy. In the book of Revelations, John 10, verse 32 to 36, you can look it up, all right? John 10, verse 32 to 36. Pass that. Come on. Get that money. Pass that plate. Right? And I'm going to paraphrase, right? He says, Jesus says to the Jews who stoned him, for which of my works do ye stone me? And they said, look, Jesus, we fucks with you, basically. you my nigga, if you don't get no bigger. But you cannot be calling yourself God. And Jesus said, and I quote, isn't it written in your law that ye, or yea, are gods, and the laws cannot be broken? So if I was to translate that today, that would be Kanye telling you, you are God. You need to start acting like you are God. And if your mind is imprisoned and you are acting like a slave, then you can't be God. All right?
Okay.
And now they are going to crucify him, and you all are going to participate.
You are actively participating.
You are actively participating in this shit. Kill, 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 kill. Right? By buying into this shit that they're talking about. They're using very key words like crazy. All right?
Right.
Crazy. Now, I want to ask the people out there in the chat and the people who might see this later, if you consider Kanye crazy, at what point did you consider him crazy? Was that an original thought of yours? Or was that something that, you got tapped into the mainstream? Because in the digital world, this bullshit moves fast.
Right.
I'm from an analog world. It took a long time for a rumor or for a mind control program to really take flight.
This happens on steroids.
This shit is on steroids.
Yes.
Right? We are soundbite junkies. Right? We hear something, somebody quit something, tweet it, you get a piece of that, you run with that. Right? At what point, if you had an original thought that this man was crazy, did that take place? And what did he say that you deemed crazy?
Tell us in the chat.
Yeah, keep that running, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's another key word they're using right now. Mental illness. See, these are play on words that they use. When they start saying you're crazy, you have mental illness, and then they throw in opioids or drugs, which he threw in. Let's throw Donald Trump in that shit too. Right? Let's just make it a gumbo of shit.
Okay.
This has been set up, and they are going to crucify this man. He is maybe physically going to die, or they're going to kill his character, because we are already stringing him up. We're stringing him up on the cross already.
Yeah.
We have bought into the narrative that this nigga is crazy.
Yeah.
That this man, they did the same thing to Cat Williams.
Right.
They did the same thing to Dave Chappelle.
Martin.
They did the same thing to Martin, right? So by now, we should understand that this is a program. Now, if you on your own have came to the conclusion that Kanye is crazy, and when I say crazy, I don't mean you disagree with something he said. That's not crazy. You just don't agree. I know a lot of people I don't agree with. I don't consider them crazy, right? Now, this Trump shit is a critical part of what we're going to talk about, because those are going to be the components that they use to slaughter this man. Crazy, mental illness, opioids, Donald Trump, he's dangerous. Kanye West is now dangerous because he said, or he took a picture and he hung out with Donald Trump. No, wait a minute. Just 2 years ago.
They're throwing his wife in there too.
Whose wife?
Kanye's wife.
Okay, we're going to get to his wife in a second.
Yeah.
Because I have some revelations about his wife that I'm going to share.
Yeah, but that's...
Oh, right, you're throwing that in the mix too.
In the mix.
His wife is probably the handler.
Right.
Right? The handler is always somebody very close to you.
Right.
Right? When you need a blanket, they're there for you. They're there to comfort you. And they know the key words and trigger words to keep you moving. Okay,
Right.
So I'm cool on all of that. People are out of their mind because Kanye West was standing next to Donald Trump. Well, just 2 years ago, everybody was standing next to Donald Trump. Every rapper, every athlete,
50 Cent, Snoop,
every celebrity,
everybody,
fucking Trump was your boy just 2 years ago.
It was actually the cool thing to say.
Yes, that you knew Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's like socializing up. Niggas was photo opping with Trump.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me in 2 years, now Donald Trump is the worst racist on the planet? Really? Well, let's go to Exhibit Central Park 5. All right? Where he took out a full-page ad condemning these 5 young men for a crime they didn't commit. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he didn't know at that time. Right. He was in his emotions. They have been exonerated of all charges from DNA evidence, and the actual killer said, yeah, that's my DNA. I did that shit.
And he doubled down.
If that ain't the most racist shit I have ever heard, and if you're trying to tell me you didn't know that before you were standing next to Donald Trump, you are a hypocrite. And all of these celebrities who are now pushing out the picture for Kanye West, you are hypocrites.
Yeah.
Bottom line, that man has been racist. He's gonna be racist, so nothing he has done is any different than anything I was expecting. And if Kanye West is now a danger, this is the real funny shit. Yeah. He's a danger to black people because he's hanging with Donald Trump. Then Diddy better be a danger to black people too, because he was in a picture with Trump not too long ago. Oprah, all of them. All right, so let's keep it even. Let's keep it around the board if we're gonna take it.
Okay,
there.
Real quick to play.
Yeah, throw some shit in.
So, what would you say to the person that says, "Okay, I understand that, but Kanye West has influence over a lot of kids, right? And him aligning himself with Trump is, will confuse certain kids into what, like." They hear snippets of the slavery comment. We'll get to that in a bit.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
What would you say to that?
So I'm saying, what about Diddy? Do we have a short memory or the 2 years before he was president and he had the Apprentice show and everybody was cutting deals with him and hanging out? That stuff don't count no more because now he has a bigger platform to spew the same shit he's been spewing. Let me share something with you. 44 presidents before him, minus maybe Obama, were all racist. Right?
12 of them owned slaves.
12 of them owned slaves. So, let me say, and I'm going to jump around a little bit, right? I have this, black people, we live in a different dimension. And what I mean by that is this. Whether the stock market goes up or the stock market goes down, or there's a recession or a depression, it never phases us. Because that's white folk business for the most part, right? Now, it's called the 9/11 effect. I told you the story many times. The buildings came down on a Tuesday, and on a Wednesday, motherfuckers was in line at Best Buy buying the Jay-Z album, right?
Right.
They was just like, damn, this line is taking too long. You know what I'm saying? And I was on my double consciousness shit. I was a fucking super conscious dude, right? And I'm panicking, and I'm like, oh,
getting
water and preparing for the FEMA camps that all of our, elders had told us about. And then, on that weekend, right, still traumatized, I went to my neighborhood, and my boys was in the hood having a fucking barbecue. Yo, D, what's up? You want some chicken and shit? I'm like, yo, son, you out here barbecuing, my nigga? Like, yo, I'm telling them about the FEMA camps and the concentration camps, and they coming to get us. And my man lifted up his shirt and said, word? Them niggas better be ready for me. Had his joint on and shit. Yo, D, you like your chicken? And I'm saying, holy shit. Now, either my people are so asleep, and I'm super woke, and I'm the only one know, or it was a subtle reminder that I needed to calm down. That even in their so-called ignorance, my people knew that shit had nothing to do with us. We're gonna be here when the next president come in, and this one that happened. And I went from super conscious to double conscious, and then I just went down to conscious and said, let me stay here close to the people because it's obviously that their actual energy, not what they could articulate and all that old, you read book shit and all, none of that shit.
Right.
They just had an intuitive understanding that this had nothing to do with us. So whether Trump is in office or they bring you somebody anti-Trump that is clean and says the right things, it doesn't matter for us. We're the supreme being. We the gods. We just need to write a new code to get out of this shit. I think Kanye is trying to give us the codes. He on the other side of that shit. And y'all see that as he's frolicking with the enemy and all this old kind of shit. Well, if he's frolicking with the enemy, Dr. Dre is frolicking, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all of them are frolicking because they all run in the same fucking circles. But why are we now isolating Kanye? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And once your friends start moving away from you and other celebrities start throwing you under the bus, it's a wrap.
Right.
Because these are the house niggas.
Yeah.
Right? This is actually slave avengers. That's what we should call this shit. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. The slaves are now attacking.
But that just goes back to the habit, I guess, black people have with we need a lightning rod.
Right. Absolutely.
For something.
Absolutely.
For something, you know what I mean? And I think, like, going back to Obama's presidency, because it was a black man, it lulled everybody to sleep.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Not knowing, like, a lot of Obama's policies did nothing for us, but he's black, so that, you know what I'm saying? So we let him rock.
You know something? I'm very transparent on this show. And even though I know the presidents are selected, not elected, when Obama got in, I cried a little bit. I got a bottle of champagne. And,
I remember that.
A couple of tears came down. Like, this is a proud moment, man. Just to see a black man symbolically.
Right,
not that his policy was going to do anything, because we reside in a different dimension.
Right.
We're in Wakanda or some shit.
Yeah.
We just ain't built it up yet. We're waiting for the code so that we can exit this bullshit. While we seem to reside in the same time and space, but we actually reside somewhere else.
Right.
Now, before I pass it off to you, because I'm going to let you eat for a minute. There's a time when people thought Nat Turner was crazy. Right? When he was like, listen, we can grab some weapons at midnight. We just gonna start fucking people up. I bet you there was a bunch of slaves. Okay, this is slave avengers, and instead of infinity wars, this is insanity wars. Ding, ding, ding. Right?
Right.
I bet you it was a bunch of slaves that this nigga's crazy. I'm pretty sure Harriet Tubman was looked upon as somebody who was crazy when she said, listen, we getting out of here.
Matter of fact, we're going to get out of here and I'm going to go back.
And I'm going to go back and pick up more.
And then come back.
And then she carried her shit with her. She had her joint with her.
Did.
And it wasn't just for white slave masters.
It was
for you house niggas who she might have had to cap too.
Right.
Let's keep it a buck. All right? She was thought of as crazy. There was a time when Marcus Garvey was thought of as crazy. When he said, all right, listen, let's just pack our shit. Let's just pack our shit. Let's get 2 big ships. And let's get the fuck out of here. W.E. Du Bois and them niggas thought he was crazy. And he said, I ain't taking, and he even said, I ain't taking all of you niggas with me. Because all of you niggas are still slaves. Right? So there are times amongst us when they thought Elijah Muhammad was slave, when he was saying the black man is God and the white man is the devil, and was made in a lab by Yaqub. You know, they have scientific proof now of somebody named Yaqub. We'll talk about that later. Thought he was crazy. So crazy becomes a relative term. The last thing I'm going to say before I pass it to you is this. There was a time when Kanye West was at Rockefeller Records. And he was making beats. They just said he's a dope producer. And he said to them, I want to start rapping. And Jay-Z said, nigga, you crazy. And he proved Jay-Z wrong. Or he proved Jay-Z right. Yes, I'm crazy enough to do it. And he did it. Then he told these niggas, get this, I'm going to make a song about Jesus. And the shit is going to be a hip-hop banger. And I'm going to have savage niggas in the club dancing to Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. Pass that fucking plate around for the third time before we get the chorus in this thing, right? And they said, nigga, you crazy. You'll never do it. Jesus Walks was the hottest shit out. Then he said, I'm gonna make my own sneaker. It's gonna be the best-selling sneaker of all time. Say maybe Michael Jordan, and I'm gonna design it because I do that kind of shit. And they told him, nigga, you crazy. And he did it. I just watched the Charlemagne interview, and he said his fashion company will be worth $1 billion. That's right, $1 billion. I'm pretty sure they thought a nigga going to Paris and trying to hang out with all of the elite designers, we don't let black people around us, and him trying to break down doors and write new code, they thought he was crazy. Right?
Right.
Charlemagne was just walking on this nigga's land. He got 300 acres of land and said he's getting ready to build a community. I'm pretty sure that sounds fucking crazy too. Yeah, we put our application in because we might be on Ye's plantation. So I'm gonna stop there for a minute, let you process that. And Malcolm, you want to get at that? We can take some questions out the chat. No, we're gonna be here a minute.
So what I wanted to say was, right? Remember a couple weeks ago we started talking about Kanye on Twitter.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And at first I thought he was trolling, right? And then when I listened to his interview with Charlemagne, then I listened to the entire interview of the TMZ.
Right, the entire one. Not the soundbite.
Not the soundbite. It's 30 minutes. It's a whole.
The entire.
It's a whole beginning, middle, and end to that, right?
Yeah.
I realized he's not trolling. He's being dead ass serious.
Dead ass.
Right. And then when I listened to the Charlemagne interview, I realized, like, remember I text you, I don't see nothing crazy about him, right?
Yes.
All his answers were really thought out.
I had a pen and pad with me because I said, this is him and Charlemagne.
Yeah.
I said, it's bound to be some crazy shit.
Right.
And I want to document this for the people. And I didn't write nothing down.
Right. I didn't see nothing wrong.
Nothing crazy.
Right. And again, a lot of what he was talking about in that interview, we set up here last week.
Right. We said here last week. That's why you got to watch the interview.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and in his interview, right, I learned a lot about he was very honest. He was very candid.
He was really transparent. Too,
really transparent. He talked about the Jay-Z situation, said I was hurt. He didn't come to my wedding and this and that, and we supposed to be boys. I was hurt. He went through a lot of different things, explaining a lot of stuff about how we need to take these so-called artists off a pedestal.
Right.
He spoke a lot about free thought. I'm trying to have some free thought. I'm trapped in a simulation. We are all trapped in a simulation. I'm trying to have some free thought. Continue.
Right. And then, remember, I was here, and then I saw a soundbite, like a lot of people saw, of the slavery was it was 400 years, slavery was a choice thing, right? And I looked at you and said, I don't know about him. You think he's wilding, right?
Right, yeah.
And then, even then for a split second, because even like right after he said, slaves of the mind, right? He said that right after, even though, if you watch the entire interview, he said, at the beginning, he said, I don't know how to articulate everything. He said, I'm an artist. I just go for how I feel. I don't know how to articulate everything. So that's what I personally took it as. Right? He was going off emotion because, he's in TMZ. He's just trying to get his point across.
Right.
And he said what he said. The verbiage was horrible.
Yes.
Right? We understand. Like, we get slavery back then was not a choice.
Right.
But slavery now, if you choose to be a slave of the mind now, that is your choice. Okay. And I don't know any other polite way to say that.
Yeah. And check this out. I got to get right to this part, right? The minute I saw the tweets go up, Kanye said slavery was a choice. And side note, I see you trolls out there who are trying to reword his statement.
Yeah.
I see you. You're saying everybody's leading with Kanye said slavery was a choice. Was denotes something that happened in the past. So that's not what he said. He didn't say slavery was. And he also didn't say slavery is a choice, because that would denote the present, which you could automatically understand that this is a mental slavery that he's talking about. Right? He said it sounds like a choice to me. Sounds is present. He didn't even, to get technical, he didn't say it sounded like a choice.
So even like, so the reaction to that was swift, right? Everybody's going crazy. Everybody, all these scholars are trying to educate Kanye, right? Malcolm Hill, who I'm a big fan of, right? He named a bunch of people that had slave revolts or almost had slave revolts, right? But got for because of how things we were talking about, right? And in that, him trying to educate Kanye with these slave revolts, he kind of proved his point.
He was making his point.
He proved his point, right? Because when you talk about slavery being a choice, it is. If there were slave revolts, right? People chose to make that decision, we're going to leave. Or they chose to make that decision, I'm going to stay.
I'm going to jump off the boat.
Or I'm going to jump off the boat, right? And when we talk about chattel slavery, right? Because we're going to get specific for the people that want to get slick, right? We're going to talk about...
you slick fuckers. I see you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about chattel slavery, right? So if all of these people, right, when they came over to... all these Africans, when they came over here, they were in chains, right?
Yeah.
Couple generations down, you don't need those chains anymore because they have it ingrained in them that they better not go nowhere, because the first people that came got beat, they got raped. The men got beat, got raped in front of their wives and things like that, in front of their children, right? And that set the standard to not step out of line. So by the time the third and fourth generation, we talk about 400 years here, third and fourth generation get there, that the chains are not needed.
Absolutely. Mental chains
are, that's what.
So let me continue, because you know what, I'm very simple, and I like to make sure I cross my T's and dot my I's before I slaughter you niggas. Right?
Let's get it.
So the minute I saw his statement, even the original soundbite, and it said 400 years, man, that sounds like a choice.
And he said the numbers, he says it's more us.
Right.
Yeah.
But the number 400 stood out to me immediately.
Okay.
You know, in school, you used to do the reading comprehension.
Right.
When you was in 5th grade. And the teacher used to say the answer is in the fucking, paragraph. So the minute I saw 400, I started doing math. All right? I immediately knew he couldn't be talking that chattel slavery was 400 years, because that's impossible.
Right.
I went back, when he said 400 years, I went back to 1619. Now, I know Elijah Muhammad told us slavery started in this country in 1555, and I believe Elijah Muhammad. But for the sake of those and the history, and the history or the matrix part of the story, Jamestown, Virginia, 1619. I counted 100 years, 200 years. I counted on my fingers, 300 years, 400 years. I said, that's 2019. Technically, we're not even in 2019. If you are a slave after 400 years, it is a choice. Boom. So I immediately said, well, yeah, I can see that, because what you do is a choice. It never should have went further than that.
No.
I went on Facebook, and I posted. I said, and I was very deliberate in how I delivered this. I said, if slavery started in 1619, right, and it lasted for 400 years, that will be 2019. I said, if you are a slave today, it is a choice. And people lost their minds. I got called a goon. I got called stupid. I got calls from people who were saying, you don't understand what's going on. I said, no, nigga, I understand clearly what's going on. He could not be talking about chattel slavery. And then, you know what happened? Show you how the spirit worked. Kanye West posted a tweet that said...
Oh, I got it. You want to read it?
He said, and I quote, to make myself clear, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. So he was clearly telling you he was not talking about chattel slavery. But the media knew that too, because they watch his tweet like everybody else.
Right, but they completely ignored it.
But they ignored that. They kept running with the narrative, and they kept twisting the fucking language and saying Kanye said slavery was a choice. Now, if I jumped off a plane and I'm a celebrity, and TMZ, because the motherfuckers is everywhere, put the mic on our face and say, Black Dot, we just heard Kanye say slavery, was a choice. I might say that nigga crazy too, right? But that's not what he said. Stop putting words in the black man's mouth. That's not what he said. So now, with that, let's double down.
Right.
With the keyword, anybody who can read reading comprehension and even reading his words, any keyword you hear 400 years and you just do math, you know that we are 400 years from 1619. He couldn't have been talking chattel slavery.
Right.
Then, when he got on his Twitter and told you, of course, I know those who were in chattel slavery did not do that by free will. And then, the spirit is beautiful. They released the full TMZ video.
Yeah.
And then the full TMZ video, after he said 400 years, that sounds like a choice to me. The Jew, Levine said, whoa.
So let's go back. He let Kanye finish his whole point and said, let's go back.
Let me go back to what you just said about slavery being a choice.
Go watch the full interview.
Go watch the full interview. And Kanye clearly said, no, I'm talking mental. I didn't mean, he said, let me remove the word slavery and say, because that just denotes black people. He said, I'm talking black and white. We in a prison of our minds. Drop the mic. Boom. Right? With all of that information available, it's still some niggas out there, celebrities, conscious, double conscious, super conscious, quantum conscious niggas out there running with the narrative that Kanye said chattel slavery was a choice. Now, if you get all of that, right? If you got a soundbite, I respect that. If you just, got a piece and you don't know the story, if you got all of this information, there are only a couple of logical explanations for the way you're acting like that. You either hate Kanye,
or you a slave,
or you are a fucking slave.
That's it.
That's it. There's nothing in between that. You a slave or you hate Kanye, which is almost like the same thing when you hate another black man for coming up. And side note, if being crazy is running your own business, 9, 10 platinum albums, traveling the world, trying to be innovative, now you got 300 acres of land, $1 billion industry, sign me up.
But they're gonna call you a coon though.
Oh yeah. Well, see, the coon shit is connected to your economic status, right? If you in the hood, right? That's black power. Yo, you struggling with us. The minute you no longer in the hood, you're a coon, nigga. That's just the way that works. But that's slavery programming.
Right.
And here's Kanye saying we need to break these chains. Right? We need to start thinking a little bit more free. He's trying to tell you, let's write a new code behind this shit and get out of this shit. We write code all the time. Hip-hop is a code that we wrote. We wrote that program.
Right.
Like the Matrix. We wrote the fucking program of hip-hop, and we wrote it for our economic freeway artists to empower the people and all of that. And it's like a startup. We sold the shit early. That's all the shit. We sold the codes to hip-hop early on in the game, and now somebody else is running a multi-trillion-dollar business. And we no longer have the rights to the fucking company. Right? So all Kanye is saying, and remember, crazy is a relative term. There was one nigga who said, the earth is round. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker was thought of as crazy too. What, nigga, the earth is flat? Everybody knows the earth is flat. He said, nah, I'm a nigga, and we don't revolve, or the sun don't, revolve around us, nigga. We revolve around that. Crazy. Genius, right? Genius is another relative term. Like, I'm talking to the people in the chat. How would you know you were amongst a genius? Right? Now, if you understand everything the genius is saying, there's only two logical explanations. Either he is not a genius, or everybody's a genius. And if everybody is a genius, nobody's a goddamn genius. Right? Geniuses, or even those with genius potential, because they're all amongst us. It ain't just Kanye. It's all amongst us. Right. They operate differently. They're uncomfortable in crowds. Sometimes they be extra loud because they're really uncomfortable. They're socially uncomfortable. They don't want to have small talk with you. How they see reality is different. That's why they call them geniuses. Right. You understand my point? So now we are dealing with a point, right? Just trying to let me work. I'm on my loaded luck shit. Let me work. Right? Because I'm tired of you sorry ass niggas out there being so emotional. All right? Over some shit. And it ain't about Kanye per se. It's about free thought.
And my whole thing is, what does Kanye saying that, even him saying that, what does that have to do with your life?
Absolutely. What does that have to do with your life?
And Kanye was saying that. He was like, yo, like,
absolutely.
Like, why do I have that responsibility?
Absolutely. And we talk a lot about idol worship here. You know what I mean? So, listen, again, to me, when I first heard it, and I'm not that bright, when I first heard the keywords 400, I knew he was talking about mental slavery. And on our show last week, we was talking about mental slavery. Yeah. Or a choice. If you are dumb in this day and time, it is a choice. I said that last week. Right? Just like if you're a slave to porn, or you're a slave to chocolate ice cream, or you're a slave to whatever. These are choices that you have made. Right. Right? So, Kanye is coming out again. Sometimes the nigga who go against the grain, yeah, he is crazy. But he sees something we don't. And please don't tell me he's hanging out with the wrong people. Get the fuck out of here. You niggas are starting to act like morons. And I'm not talking to regular folk. I'm talking to the conscious, super conscious, double conscious, quantum conscious, them niggas. I seen a lot of them niggas in their emotions. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what's bothering me, because we're supposed to be the ones that know better. We wrote the fucking code to MK Ultra. From Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Steve Coakley, they prepared us to see when some shit don't sound right, don't feel right, don't look right. And now y'all niggas, Kanye West.
But it's like, you know what's crazy? It's the cool thing to go at him now. And again, that's just proving his point.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It literally is, you're playing in real time, actually. In real time. Like, it's tweets going right now, right? We just talked about it on CNN. There's stuff. I remember, I'm getting sidetracked here a little bit, but I remember a couple weeks ago, I put a poll up on YouTube. I said, oh, now that Meek's out, do you think him and Drake, will link up, right? Right. Somebody commented, nah, I don't think so. He voted, nah. He said, but there's real important stuff going on. This poll is dumb. You got it. More power to you. That is your opinion. Cool. Right? So, taking that into consideration, there's real stuff going on, right? And CNN, where we supposed to get our unbiased news, got Ebro from Hot 97. Not even the good radio station, right?
Yeah.
Right? From Hot 97 to talk about Kanye's comments from a 2-minute clip.
From a 2-minute clip that I'm pretty sure Ebro knows was taken out of context. So let me reiterate, right, before we move forward. I also want to talk about the magic red hat. Okay? There's a hat going around that I need to tell y'all people about. This hat is fucking dangerous. This hat, remember Dave Chappelle? And they did the weapons of mass destruction. He said, nigga, this is yellow cake. Oh, yeah. Nigga, we going to war. Wow, they had yellow cake, nigga.
He said, I got some yellow cake right
here. I got some yellow cake right here, nigga. Right? Yeah. It's a red hat going around. It's got 4 words on it. It says, make America great again. If you see this hat, ladies and gentlemen, please run for your life. This hat is like an atomic bomb of emotion, of pain, Oh, shit, you go the hat alone. Because whoever is wearing the hat is now almighty powerful. The almighty enemy. Kanye just had the hat on when he was talking to Leon Cohen, right? He put the hat on. Now, he explained his reason for putting the hat on. Because it symbolically represented something for him. While everybody else is going this way, I'm trying to have a free thought on my own. And said, I like Donald Trump. And check this out, side note, so does Snoop, so does Diddy, so does Jay-Z,
again,
so does Beyonce. They all like Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? But because he said it, in this time of crisis when black people are being killed because of Trump. Wait a minute. Trayvon Martin got killed. That wasn't on Trump's watch. Troy Brown, that wasn't on his watch. Sandra Bland, that wasn't on his watch. Who my man who got choked out, I can't breathe.
Eric Garner.
The list goes on and on. Abner Louima, the list goes on and on. When Trump wasn't in office, he didn't have nothing to do with that blood. But now, every time somebody gets killed, it's Trump's fault. I love black people because we won't take responsibility for nothing. All of our pain and struggle is because Donald Trump is in office. Bottom line. Again, we get an external fucking pinata board.
Yeah, it's the lightning.
We get to beat the lightning rod so that we won't look in the mirror and say, well, damn, maybe I should jog if I want to lose 30 pounds.
Right.
Maybe I should go back to school and get that degree I was thinking about. Maybe I should start that company I was going to start. Nah, well, no, Trump's in office, won't do it. Blame it on Trump. Daddy, why didn't you ever go out and get a job? Trump, son, Trump. I was going to go out and get a job, it was Trump. Mommy, you said you was going to do this and that. I can't, Trump.
Somebody goes, Care Bear in the chat, why did J&B publicly show love for Hillary if they love Trump?
J&B?
J and Beyonce.
I'm explaining.
Real quick. If you think anything would be different with Hillary in the office,
then you're sadly mistaken. Okay. So Hillary,
that's the easiest thing.
Hillary was more racist than Trump. You know who her husband was, right? The 3 strikes law put more black people. He put more black people in jail than anybody. They sleep together. You trying to tell me she is cut from a different cloth? And I told you last week.
And remember the super predator line?
Yeah, the super predator line that you know what I'm saying she used. I told you last week. The minute she said, when they asked her, what do you have in your bag? That might surprise us. And she said, hot sauce. And you niggas didn't run up to Hot 97 and beat her down. She could say hot sauce because she don't have to talk policy to you niggas. She don't have to do that shit. You follow what I'm saying? So what she did was, she said hot sauce, and then she gave you niggas a concert with Jay-Z and Beyonce, because we know black people like to dance.
She had Mary J. Blige singing.
Yeah, she had Mary J. Blige singing, oh, Hillary, I love you, Hillary. Yeah. Right? So, because that's what they think of you. And on a side note, I wasn't talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce when Trump was running for office because they had to distance themselves. Hey. I'm talking about, I bet you, somebody can go on the internet right now and find a picture of Jay-Z with Donald Trump and Beyonce with Donald Trump. I bet you, before he decided to run for office. Because then he was just a cool racist. Now let's talk about racism for a minute. Because racism is everywhere, right? Russell Simmons had to deal with racism, being the only black man in a corporate office to sell hip-hop to the Jews. Right? Classism is what y'all missing. Y'all stuck on racism. Racism is for poor white people and poor black people to fight all day. Classism means if I got money, I can play. And then they might still call you a nigga here and there, but they'll sit down at the table with you because you have something to offer or sell them. And if you try to tell me even today that Diddy does not go into board meetings and he's a billionaire or just about, and he is not recognized as a nigga, you out of your mind. But he worth $1 billion. So now we're talking classism. All right. So I want to be clear with racism and classism. All right. Now I want to get into slavery itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So This week, I think it was Monday. Let me see if I'm trying to find it.
Y'all all right? As Bobby would say, y'all all right in chat and shit?
Or Tuesday, right? So a couple times on here, right, we talked about not telling your kids about slavery, right? And I tweeted that concept about not teaching your kids about slavery isn't about forgetting our past nor disrespecting our ancestors, but it comes down to victimology.
Yes.
Right?
Victim consciousness.
Victimology, victim consciousness. And I said that because you don't see white people teaching their history of living in caves and living in filth. They didn't even know how to use soap until black people showed them how to do it.
Spain,
they didn't know how to. Yeah, they didn't have any indoor plumbing until black people showed them. They didn't know how to build cities until black people showed them. You don't hear white people tell them none of that because it diminishes their value in their history, right?
Absolutely.
Now, slavery was an important part of our history, but it wasn't the only part of our history. And that was what I was getting at. And one of my boys, right, he said, well, if white people talk about their history within this country, they've always been the winners, right? It had nothing to do with my argument.
Had nothing to do with your argument, especially in this country.
Especially in this country, right?
Yeah, they also brought diseases and germs and wiped out the fucking Indians. Or who they called Indians. And that's just the lineage. I don't even want to get into the Moorish history, which is much more advanced.
Which is weird.
I'm just throwing it off the backboard and
always saying is
down the middle.
Always saying is, as parents, we don't have the control. Like as black people, we don't have control of the school system. I worked in the school system for a while, right? And I know that black kids are disproportionately like at a disadvantage when it comes to what we learn and what is taught. Right. But I'm talking about as parents, you're supposed to, I feel, in my opinion, you're supposed to do your due diligence and teach your kids their royal.
I taught mine. You knew about the Moors since you was like 8 or 9 years old.
Right.
Fucked his teachers up one day. Went to school and was talking about the Moors, and the teacher was like, how do you know about that? You don't worry about that, sir.
Yeah.
You don't worry
He made me read the Malcolm X autobiography. I was like in the 3rd grade.
You see what I'm saying?
I was like 7.
So, let me make this point.
Right. No, but
okay.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue.
No, my whole point is that it goes back to being like, you don't want to. How can I put this? Slavery is traumatic, right? When we see pictures, we see depictions, we see, we go to museums and things like that. It's traumatic, right? So to live with that all the time.
Yeah, that's the point I'm getting ready to make.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I got basically my ass chewed out, and I know my so-called elders and conscious community say, oh, Dot is out of his fucking mind. Stop teaching that shit to your kids.
Oh, real quick. What I wanted to say, right? So every time we say this, people always in the chat, somebody in the chat probably right now saying, well, you don't tell Jews to forget about the Holocaust.
That's a whole different can of worms, a whole different story. They showed up in this country with their language, their culture, their religion, and their money system intact. And they receive extra benefits to even perpetrate that fucking story.
Right? Exactly. We don't make money off of any slave movie. We don't make money.
It's a story.
Right? We don't make money off of any slave movie, any museum,
none of that
anything.
Shit.
Jewish people, they produce their own movies because they own Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Right? They own museums.
Absolutely.
And they get money, and they got money in their country because of in Germany because of the Holocaust. We got nothing.
And
for
I'm gonna
slavery.
say Holocaust.
Yeah, again, I'm a history major. If you go deep enough into the history of the Holocaust, there's a lot of people that say the whole thing was made up. They're German officials that got brought up on charges when everything came, World War II ended, and they say that never happened.
Exactly. They wrote a code. They wrote a code here that said Holocaust, and this is the shit we gonna use. Take it or leave it. Now, with that being said, right? I can't think of one reason to keep remembering being beaten, raped, tortured, murdered, sodomized, hit over the head, lost our language, religion, our culture, our God. I can't think of one reason I need to keep reliving that.
Right.
You understand my point? I can tell you all of them same attributes are the things that have fucked my people up. We lost our religion, our culture, we lost everything. It fucked us up. I can't think of one reason that I should remember all of that pain so that I may propel and move forward. If you in the chat room can find me one reason. Now, ladies, let me throw this in there too. I'm gonna make it very simple for you. Ladies, if you were raped, right? And I mean brutally raped, like brutal. And I said to you every day, don't forget you got raped. Don't forget you got raped. Don't forget you got raped. Don't forget, hey, how you doing? Don't forget you got raped. Good day today. Don't forget you got raped. How the fuck would that help you in your everyday life? It would traumatize you. Right. But yet you want me to remember that we were raped, murdered, tortured, beaten, castrated, the list goes on every day so that I may be stronger? That makes no goddamn sense.
And let's take it a step further, right? How would the conversation change if we taught our children that we were here?
Boom! And that brings me to the Moors. The Moors say that shit didn't even happen. Now, I'm not necessarily going to subscribe to that, but I liked it. I like your thinking. I like the way the Moors is going with it, because even if you just use that concept and erase that shit over your hard drive, empty that shit from your hard drive. You know how your hard drive start working slow because you got a whole bunch of bullshit on it in the trash? Empty that shit. And I know there were people who are going to say, but what about my ancestors? And I want to remember them. And that's great. And I respect that. All depending how you see the ancestral thing, right? If you feel that the ancestors passed away, so be it. Ain't nothing they can do anyway. If you feel your ancestors are here with you, then great, help them write the fucking code. And invoke them to help us write this code so that we may put a block over that portion. It's sort of like psychology. Right. When you're dealing with psychology, right, they always take you back to a time that was traumatic in your life. So that not you can repeat it and keep repeating it so that you can change the past so that it affects the future. Right. So that you can, even in your dreams, conquer that person who burglar who came in the house that traumatized you. Right? In the movie, Get Out. She's stirring the cup. She didn't say to him, what did you do yesterday? Or what do you want to be in the future? No. She said, tell me about your mother. Tell me about the day your mother didn't come home. She took him back to the most traumatic time in his life, and then she broke his ass. So every time we relive slavery in this country, it's like America with a big ass cup going, right? This is assimilation. You can be anybody the fuck you want to be. How many rappers ain't never did that shit that they rapping about? I'll wait. The list is fucking long. Yeah. Right? You know what they did? They wrote a new code. They wrote a code that say, I want to be a gangster rapper and make millions of dollars. And you sitting home on your fucking 9 to 5, mad at them. Write a new goddamn code. Now, Doc, are you saying I should act like slavery didn't happen? Yes. I'm gonna say it again. Act like that shit never happened. Let's create a little fucking exercise too. And before I make that point, if you work in corporate America, you deal with racism every single day. Every single day. But you know what you do? You get up and you take your ass to work every single day. Why? Because you got mortgage to pay, you got kids to put through school, you still want to be who you want to be. You have to thrive in spite of racism in this country.
It's not going nowhere.
That's the only way you are going to operate. If slavery, or you have a choice. That business you was going to start, don't start it. That degree you was going to get to better yourself, don't get it. And just blame it on racism. Right. That's called being a victim. Do you know what victims draw? Victimizers. That's 101. That's fucking law of attraction 101. Victims draw victimizers. Okay, so every time we outside marching, and let me tell you, every time I see black people marching in 2018, I'm embarrassed because we haven't written a new code that says we are not going to march outside and then fucking go home. It's embarrassing. All right? So, dealing with that aspect of it, back to my point, women in particular, They deal with women deal with sexism at the job, and they build the shit into their psychology. If your woman is fine and she working in corporate America, this dude's trying to shoot their shot every day. Like, hey, how you doing, boo? Hey, you need anything? Oh, stop, John. She has to build that shit into her psychosis to get through her day. That's how racism works in this country. We have to, and I wrote it in Urban Culture Decoded, we have to thrive in spite of racism, in spite of discrimination, in spite of the police shootings. We're the special beings. That's why we God. This is just that simple. That's why we are God and they are not. Okay? But you can be a slave. This is the slave of vengeance. Dun, 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 dun. All you want. Or you can try to write some new code. Let's create an exercise. I do this shit all the time. I do not see the police. And you said, well, what the fuck you mean by that, Doc? Let me explain to you. One day I was talking to A.A. Rashid, and when he was in prison, I said, well, how did you manage in there with the corrections officers? He said, I never looked at them. I never looked none of them in their fucking eye. I always looked through them and past them. And that helped him get through his stint.
Right.
I stole the codes to that shit. I was like, okay, nigga. So now when I see the police on the street or something like that, I never even look at them. I treat them the way white people treat them. White people don't look at the police. Like, you insignificant. Right? So let's do this exercise together. Right? From now on, start treating white people like they're insignificant in your life. When you see them in the hotels and all of that shit, grab your purse. Pull your purse closer to you. Or act like, because white people, you are insignificant in their world. Unless you are a celebrity or they feel threatened violently and they need to call the police. Other than that, watch how white people walk around the city.
Yeah.
They act like they don't even fucking see you.
Like not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world. But when we see white people, devil, it's the reason we can't get hurt. And that's an emote. You're emoting an energy.
Yeah.
And it is a negative one. And draw it back to you is the goddamn police. You know what I'm saying? Just like when certain niggas in their car and they see the police, oh man, fuzz. You know what I'm saying? Fuzz. You know, that's the old school when I said fuzz. You know, I'm 50 years old. Yeah, that's the fuzz. You know what I mean? Let's create act like you know, even your boss. Deal with him, but act like you don't even, act like he's the mail person bringing you the fucking mail. Try that shit for a while. You know why? Because we've tried the other way forever, and nothing has changed in this country.
Protesting. None
of that shit
help
works.
Anything.
Kanye is not crazy. I'm fucking pro Kanye. All right? Just like I'm pro DMX. He got issues. I was pro OJ until the last stint. Nigga started stealing his own shit. But you understand my point. You don't have to be perfect, and that's what Kanye is saying. I'm not saying Kanye is the exalted one and we need... No, but I'm not going to let you niggas use him and put that man up on a cross and then wash your hands when the shit is done and start playing this nigga music when he's dead.
Right.
Yo, Kanye.
They're starting to do that now.
Yeah.
On the radio, they're playing his old music.
Yeah, and then some stations are muting his music. And all of that kind of stuff. Did we go dead? We still live, boo-boo? We still live? Okay. You understand?
Yeah,
so they are setting this shit up lovely.
Yeah.
And if you can't see it, then you haven't been following any of the work that we have been putting out. Let's go to the chat. See what they're talking about.
Let me see. Let's go to the chat, man.
Is Gail in the chat? What's her name? Gail.
Gail Jackson.
Gail Jackson be showing love. I want to shout out Gail Jackson. Alright?
Oh, somebody said the same way they did with Michael Jackson?
Same way they did with Michael Jackson. Okay, we got tweets up here. Exactly, yep. Treated accordingly, you treat me cool, I treat you cool. I respect that to Miss Zaria. You know what I'm saying? Blam, the difference between Jews and blacks is that they perpetuate the oppression to justify their dominance. We perpetuate the slavery narrative, so for no other reason than to justify our lack of success. Clap that shit up! Blam! Clap that shit up! Doing the same things and expecting a different result is fucking insanity. Sideways, I'm pretty sure they probably thought Einstein was insane. They probably thought Bill Gates was insane. They probably thought Mark Zuckerberg, and that's just a few of the devils I'm throwing on there, was insane.
Sue and Hot Glass, Malcolm, I would like to eat. So you can email UrbanX.nyc@gmail.com.
UrbanX.nyc@gmail.com.
For, anything. You can add us on Instagram and Twitter.
Niggas start sounding just like mass media personalities. You know they in the wrong stream of thought. Absolutely. I don't know if that's a shot at us or, but I'm just simply saying. The stream of thought, because Kanye spoke a lot in his extensive interview. Yeah. He spoke a lot about thought stream. I'm in a stream. When enough people tweet or create the stream, make the stream strong, it can have an effect on lesser minds.
Yeah.
When you think for yourself, you don't fall into the stream, right? And these niggas who think they super intelligent, salute to both brothers, love the work. All right, I'm better understanding of the Kanye situation. That's all we trying to do. I told you.
Shout out to Ebony Pledger.
Ebony Pledger.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Shout out to you, sis. Yeah. We appreciate the love and support. Not at all. I don't know what that means. Not at all, y'all, at all. All right, I'm a little slow. The technology fucks me up, but I
guess that was, remember when you said.
Read Dr. Joy DeGride's book. Her last name used to be Joy Leary, right? The post-traumatic slave syndrome is the name of the book, right? It's an excellent.
I have that book.
You have that book.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Right? I didn't give you that book. I think your mom's gave you that book. We're gonna give your mother a little bit of credit for that. I usually give you all the books. As a matter of fact, I think she gave me the book for my birthday one year.
Okay.
And it's an amazing book because we're still acting like slaves. We're still dealing with the trauma. And all I'm saying is, I don't have the answer, but we gotta write some new code. And I believe Kanye was trying to put us on point and get us to begin to write the code to say, dude, you gotta start feeling for yourself.
Yeah, I think it's kind of also telling the way celebrities are trying to, celebrities that are not really in good graces with the people are trying to get in front, trying to throw Kanye under the bus too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris Brown.
That's nigga shit.
Chris Brown.
I'm not even sure Chris Brown even know.
What the hell? Yeah. Chris Brown.
He looks reactionary.
Adrian Broner.
will.i.am.
Yo, shout out. Yo. What about Daz? Putting a hit out on Kanye.
Yeah,
but George Zimmerman is still
Zimmerman is still running around, but Dad's gonna put a hit out on Kanye.
The cop that killed Mike Brown, still here. The cop that killed Alden Sterling, still here. The cop that arrested, that pulled over Sandra Bland, she's still here.
But Kanye West is dangerous. And even the dude that TMZ got all emotional, fuck that Kanye.
Van Lathan.
Yeah, Van Lathan, if that's his name. Because what you doing, man, I'm out here in these streets, you live in another place, man, and you standing next to the enemy, and now my life is in danger. Nigga, please. How the fuck is him standing next to Trump got your life in danger? That's some victim shit. I think you just wanted 15 minutes of fame.
It was good. It was really thought out. It was dope. It was a good moment. It was a
it was a real good moment for him to come at Kanye and because Kanye, you live in another dimension, man. That ain't real, and what you're doing is dangerous because Trump, who was just your boy 2 years ago and everybody's friend 2 years ago at the correspondence dinner for Obama and shaking hands and probably smoking weed with Snoop and some of the rappers.
He was on Comedy Central with everybody.
And now he's dangerous. And
then this, it's crazy. This goes back to they just did a White House Correspondents' Dinner with Michelle Wolf, right?
Yeah.
Well, white girl. I don't know if she's white. I think she's white. And
she's white.
Yeah, she's white. And in her speech, right, she went at Trump, she went at everybody, and she also went at the media. And that dinner is supposed to signify like free speech. Right. And it's supposed to, so that's why they get comedians up there because
comedians are the most ones to say
they want them to speak freely.
Right.
And and then she went at the media. She goes, yo, y'all love Trump.
Exactly.
He's paid y'all bills for the past 2 years. Y'all love him.
Exactly. So stop with the bullshit.
So again, this goes back to black media now and the conscious community now. Y'all love Kanye.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know damn well you do.
Yeah, like, come on.
You're playing yourself if you say you don't. And like I said,
and again, it's happening in real time.
This shit is happening in real time.
That's why it's so funny to me.
It's niggas in the chat who are gonna watch this, who are gonna be skin is gonna be boiling. Right? Now let's recap for a minute before we move forward. If this day and time, after you read all of the evidence about Kanye's statement,
right,
and you know that he clarified his statement.
And again, he clarified it on Twitter,
right,
and he had an entire interview on TMZ, not that
right,
2-minute clip.
Right.
It's a whole 30 minutes.
If you saw all of that, and you are still saying Kanye West is saying slavery is a choice, you, my friend, are in a sunken place. If, for some reason, you feel standing next to Trump, Kanye standing next to Trump, has put black people in danger, but yet just 2 years ago, he was in with everybody else that you respect, and you do not consider them hypocrites, and they're not dangerous, you, my friend, are in a sunken place.
Boom.
If you believe the red hat with the white letters on it, and the white 3-4 words, has caused you pain and has caused you sorrow. I see that hat is bringing back slavery, and that's why I don't want to be slave. I want to be free, I swear it's a dude. And this fucking garnet hat has got you in your emotions. You, my friend, are in a sunken place. Let's clap that up. Now, some of the things you have something.
Nah, I'm straight.
Okay, some of the things that he said on TMZ, I want to just discuss. First of all, the interview with Charlamagne was an amazing,
it was solid,
amazing, solid interview.
Yeah, it was solid.
I was waiting for the crazy point. Never happened, unless everybody else has data of him being crazy.
The only beef I had with that is just it just showed. I guess he wanted to be accepted by elite white people a little too much.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
I guess in the fashion world, you need to rub the shoulders with those people.
You can't operate in the fashion realm without
that. That was my only beef.
I get it. But somebody's got to go there first.
True.
So that the next 10-year-old kid, and he said that in his interview, not word for word, but he said that, it's going to be a 10-year-old kid somewhere that's, I'm going to inspire that these doors will be broken down. He spoke about his wife. I want to speak about his wife very briefly. In the past, I have ragged out his wife, all right? Kim Kardashian, right? In hindsight, I feel talking about who another man is fucking or another man's pockets is some gay shit. I'm guilty. I'm gonna raise my fucking name. That shit is just a little feminine. It's a little gay to be worrying about who the next, whether you agree with it or not.
Right.
We all know a nigga in the hood be like, damn, you fucking her nigga. We all fucked her nigga. What you doing? I love her. I just do. I just love her. Damn it. All right, when's the wedding?
Right? I'll be there.
So in that sense.
Yeah.
And what I picked up from the interview, there's some energy in here. I just saw an entity. That's a side note. What I picked up from the interview was that he actually loves her. Whether she's his handler or not, he talks about her like he loves her. And he has 3 kids by her. You know what I mean? So out of respect for him, I will no longer address his wife in that capacity. Now, with that being said, she is a celebrity on her own. So if she do some crazy shit, I'm happy.
You fair game, yeah.
You fair game. But in context to Kanye, how could you fuck her? And a lot of people, she's some white cave hole. You do not want me to pull out the list of black actors, rappers, and politicians.
And abolitionists.
Abolitionists who have a white wife. Nigga, it'll be, my cash register won't stop ringing. It should be like, the fucking receipts will be on the floor, nigga. Alright? So if you want to take it there, he fucking some white cave bitch. Well, they all fucking some white cave bitch. If you want to take it there.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's just kind of keep the shit fair. And another thing I noticed, watch the people who only have negative shit to say about Kanye. Or not his accomplishments, because we're very fair and balanced with what we do. Not his accomplishments, what he's going through psychologically, lost his moms, maybe this is, you know, something dealing with that. He mentioned the opioids that he was on. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get to that. In the TMZ interview, he talked about we need to think freely. That's what this is all about. Trying to come to your own conclusions about who Kanye is or what he's going through. And after you go through all of that, if he is a threat to national security, then there's something wrong with me. Then I'm in a fucking place. Okay? But if you're going to follow the narrative of what everybody's saying, Kanye's the craziest thing on the fucking planet. Right? Now, he talked about feeling free, expressing what you feel. And that's connected to free thought. I felt like wearing this fucking hat. And you know, I said, you know, make America great again.
And you know, he talked about symbolism, right?
Ooh, that was deep.
Yeah, and again, if you didn't watch it, you didn't catch it. He talked about how the Nazi symbol is in Africa. Right. It's just turned
differently.
Turned a different way, but it's all over Africa. But over there, it does not mean a Nazi.
Absolutely.
But they took it, they used it
for their purpose.
And that's what. So again, he was.
And it's funny. I joked about him wearing the hat.
Right.
Last week.
Right.
I said, well, what if? Remember, I was trying to make sense. I said, what if we could make America
great?
Again, you know, niggas like Dot, you're reaching too far with that one, Dot. But I never evoke emotion off that because Kanye has no bearing on my existence. I'd never be sitting up in bed like, God damn, man.
Looking at his poster, ripping his poster down.
Kanye was standing next to Trump, man. This shit is gonna be dangerous out here in the streets. That's some real slave shit, right? He spoke about icon worship. Mm-hmm. And we need to get these black people on icons off a pedestal, which is why I agree with him. That's back to the humanly stars.
Right.
And the simulation got you motherfuckers going crazy.
Yeah.
Right? He talked about Daz Dillinger.
Yeah.
I mean, Daz, you know. Yeah. And then he said, they not gonna Malcolm X me, man.
Yeah.
He said, I ain't gonna let no black people kill me, man. They won't Malcolm X me. So he understands what's going on.
He might not be the most learned person.
Absolutely.
But he's talking from a different... He's letting like the universe talk through him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
He spoke about fake news.
Yeah.
Which we all know. And his boy, he said, when I had liposuction, I didn't even know men got liposuction.
Yeah, I ain't know. Yeah.
But his explanation was he wanted to look good for the people because they shamed
him.
The brother. No, Kim Kardashian, Rob. They shamed Rob, and Rob did not come to the wedding. He said they shamed Rob so much they bullied him. You know how I bullied him, right? To the point where he said, I wanted to get liposuction to look good for you. Not my business. It's Hollywood. Everybody get plastic surgery sometime. Like in fucking Tropical Thunder. Yeah. It's Hollywood. Everybody gay sometime, right? So, none of my business. If you like it, I love it. Ain't none of my goddamn business, right? But he said he got hooked on the opioids, right?
Yeah.
And he said his man told him, these are the genius killers, right? So he said, right now, they want me to take 7 of these shits, right?
Yeah.
He said, I'm down to one every day, 1 week, whatever the case may be. But he spoke about the drug situation. He also spoke about a love vibration. He even went over and hugged that dude.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking about love and forgiveness and it being the most powerful energy on the planet. I think I've said that 1,000 times.
Yeah. You talking about Martin.
I was talking about Dr. King was ahead of his time trying to write a code in the middle of hate. He was trying to write a love code in the middle of all that hate. And it was a virus. The hate was a virus. It just sucked all that shit up. Right?
Right.
He spoke about racism. And he spoke about classism. And I thought that those things were deep. In the Charlemagne interview, he was very honest about his ups, his downs. He was very knowledgeable about the business and all of that kind of stuff, and I thought that was good. What we got going on in the chat?
What we talk about?
Any questions?
Any questions?
You know what I'm saying? Kanye is awake about this reality being a matrix by my man Bandit Bandana. Absolutely. Kanye didn't anything that was profound. Conscious community has always been free thinkers.
Have they?
Have they? If you see some of the conscious community statements, I ain't mad at Ye. I ain't mad at him either, Dark Side Break. Jay Cavassier, Bandit, he's fucking up the matrix, right? He's writing code in real time. See, when you write code in real time, the matrix has to adjust and adapt. He's calling it the simulation, the matrix simulation. He's talking the same thing. He's writing this, and for those who felt Kanye is being controlled by a bunch of people, well, maybe he broke away from that control. Yeah. And now he's off script. And when you do that, you know what they label you?
Crazy.
Crazy. When the handlers can't handle you no more, they label you crazy. I thought you, nigga, knew that. I thought you knew that. You don't know that?
Yeah.
He screwed up his mind being in the Kardashian clan. Very possible is Kanye waking up.
What's your advice for people in their feelings? That's a good question.
In their feelings? Well, shit, have a good time in your goddamn feelings. I don't give a shit. Those are your feelings. That's something you gotta deal with. If the thought of his name fucks you up, then you gotta work on you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because no president has ever done anything for black people in this country. The one who tried, maybe John F. K. You see what they did to that nigga? They pushed that nigga way back in real time in front of his family.
Somebody said, "Are you saying he's a god?" And we saying you are.
No,
a god.
I'm saying you are the gods. I'm saying we all are microcosms of the macrocosm. So we are not the omnipresent, all-knowing, but if we are made in his image and therefore we operate as many gods here on earth, and we don't have to be slaves. Our thinking is the mental hurdle is the last frontier so that we may be free. And it's a lonely place to be a free thinker. If you're a free thinker, you don't have a lot of friends. You don't consort with a lot of people, right? Being around a crowd of people makes you awkward. So this is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? What else we got going on in here? To the people that idolize Kanye in the first place, you're the fool by admiring any man other than your father in the first place. Blam, blam, I can agree with that too. So we're always preaching here, there is no idol worship. We ain't got no organization, we don't start no family, we don't do none of that shit.
Hold on.
I'm chopping something down in small bites the way I can process it, and I'm sharing my plate with the family. The family of 14,820 or whatever we got. Can somebody push us to 15,000 goddamn
Oh, you're trying to subscribe. I asked Omari Sheriff B any questions because it looks like he has an issue.
Okay, so yeah, what's your questions, King? Oh, yeah, Omar. Yeah, absolutely.
Omar, Sheriff B, what's up?
Let's go with the questions.
No.
And if you call me a coon on here or something, that's fine. I'm not in my emotions. That's how you feel about me is your business. It got shit to do with me.
Yeah.
So when people call me coon or this stupid nigga, I don't get offended because you don't know me. You see what I'm saying?
Rob Watts, Black Dot, how you feel about his concept of building cities?
You gotta be crazy to do that, right? I like it. I love it. We gotta build our own communities. He probably has a whole vision in his crazy ass mind or how he want his city to be run. But in order to say some crazy shit like that, you know what I mean? You have to think crazy. To have a fucking iPhone in your hand that got 10,000 songs on it, somebody had at one point to be fucking crazy to even think that. All right? The only ones thinking the same and afraid and all that shit are slaves.
Somebody said, UrbanX.nyc, do you think Kanye is doing all this to get press and attention to sell more copies of his album dropping soon?
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
And first of all, and you know what's crazy? Me and my friends was having a debate about this because I said, this is not going to do anything to his sales, right? my friend even agreed, like, he has a cult following.
He has a cult following already.
And all press is, like, even bad press is good press. Right? And
so it's listen, this Kanye shit is multi-layered.
Yeah.
It is everything and it is nothing at the same time. For the mundane people who wore a hat has destroyed their lives, they need to get their shit together.
And you know what's good? And they're still gonna listen because they're fascinated what he wanted to say. And this is what Trump did to get elected.
The same exact
shit. The same thing. Y'all were the test dummies. It's working. Every time an artist is about to come out with an album, what do? They start off a beef with somebody. They do something wild. Cat Williams had a new comedy special coming up. He was fighting kids. Like,
right, he was literally fighting kids.
He was literally fighting kids, and then he threw it into his.
He threw it into a skit.
And threw it into his set.
Kevin Hart's new comedy show is about cheating. Right? He's just gonna throw that shit into the comedy set to give you a part of himself.
Side note, his boy was the one that actually tried to extort him.
I heard his own boy after 15 years.
It's crazy.
Is the one who tried to extort him.
It's kind of wild.
Side note, if you get a tape of me and my wife, that ain't gonna be a sex tape. That's gonna be a love tape. That shit gonna be boring as shit. We gonna be making love and shit. Now, look at these fucking boring ass people. God damn it. And yo, check this out. When you're 50, right? The things that make you happy and please you and your wife is totally different.
Listen, I'm 24 and young, and I'm not trying to hear about this, man.
If you walk past our room in the middle of the night and you hear, oh, yeah. Oh, baby, right there. Oh, that's it. That ain't us fucking. That's me scratching her back. Popping her bra when she let the girls out. You know, ladies, you know what I mean. You have a long day and you pop the bra and it itching at one spot. And that's me scratching her back. But if you just walk by the room, that shit'll sound like we getting it the fuck on in there.
Yo.
Nope.
Oh, somebody said, David Harris, he said, Dad, do we have the full footage of the Hip Hop Dakota like she did with the black boy when you were younger?
I have all of my lectures, and I'm going to start a new series called Hip Hop Recoded. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a snippet of an old video, and I'm going to add new context to it. So if I said something that didn't happen, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, well, I said that shit back in 96. That shit didn't happen. So I'm going to be doing these little, not playing the whole thing, because a lot of my lectures are 6 hours. So I'm going to be renewing them, and you can be able to buy them if you have Google Drive, Google Drive, and stuff like that, and you want to purchase the full lectures. I'm gonna have that stuff available. It's gonna be called Hip Hop Recoded, the series.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm gonna say about this is I'm an OG. Still talking about my wife, because you know.
Oh, come on.
She's over here laughing. I'm having a good time.
Leave it alone.
When you an OG, and this is for the young people in the chat room, right? When you an OG means even if you a street OG, I don't have to knock niggas out no more. I'm an OG. Yeah. I still could. My reputation says I'm an OG.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So the shit me and my wife do, I say to her, hey, remember that shit back in 97, girl, when I did that shit, right? I'm an OG now. I can't do that shit no more, right? But I could just put it in her thoughts. Say, hey, remember we was on that fucking bus going downtown and I held your ass off the rail and did that shit, right? That's what an OG is. I can't do the shit no more, but I'm an OG. I digress, and now we will get back to any questions before we close this bitch out.
Any questions?
Questions. More questions. I hope we've added some clarity about this Kanye shit.
For real.
So that people can get a better understanding of the shit and stop falling for the okie doke. Kanye said slavery was a choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of them running with the was a choice.
Yeah.
Stop it. The man never said that. And the man is going through his own personal shit, but you can't tell me. And then ain't nobody talking about none of the positive shit he said. Nobody's talking about the free thinking, and you should think for yourself, and you should build for yourself, and you shouldn't have asking for a handout from Democrats. You shouldn't do this, and you see what I'm saying? Nobody's talking about that. They're only focused in on that one goddamn soundbite.
Somebody said, what's up with Brother Oba? We're going to get him in here soon.
Brother Oba will be here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to get him in here soon.
Not next week, the week after next. Brother Oba will be sitting here with us. I think we'll get a third chair. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be tight, but we all family. And we just gonna have you lobbing questions at Obama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the chat. So we can, you know, kind of get these questions answered. He is our resident spiritualist.
For real. But with that being said, everybody.
Yeah, I'm fucking 400 years a slave. I'm fucking hot as shit in this month.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter at UrbanX.nyc.
And there will be a part 2 to Slave Avengers. Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, I thought we put the Kanye thing to rest.
We put the Kanye thing to rest, but the slaves will return.
Yeah, true that.
There will be a sequel. You saw the movie Infinity.
True that.
You had to sit through all the credits, and then they gave you another jewel to let you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be another one.
It's gonna be another one.
Yeah.
So we already know. Yeah. After the music go off, after we hit you with that funky shit.
Oh, what about the red pill, blue pill interview?
We're chopping the rest of that stuff up now. We had some technical difficulties. Yeah. We figured it out, and the full shit will be up soon. So with that being said, I'm the Black Dot.
I'm Malcolm. This is the UrbanX
This
podcast.
is Malcolm, aka Dotson.
Oh.
Somebody put that in the chat room.
I'm not rocking with it. I don't think I like it.
Son, so your new name is Dotson.
Tell us in the chat if you
I bestow upon you.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
This is Wakanda.
Yeah.
I bestow upon you. I am Bubauza.
I don't like it.
I bestow upon you the name Dotson. Because you are Dot's son. That shit is deep.
No, I don't like it.
Okay, we didn't scratch it.
Nah.
Black mass, man, it's time to rock. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mass, man, it's time to rock. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
I woke up, then I logged in to that UrbanX where they be flexing with that blog in. Put it down, cause my little homie called in. Had to bail him out, he in trouble with the law again. Black skin can't win in the white world. Seen a brother kill his own kid for that white girl. We ain't wanna go to school, but we had to. Every February it was scary in them classrooms. Shimmy y'all, shimmy yay. Old dirty bastards can't own dirty slaves, so they own dirty masters. Black Dot found a pot as a youngin', broke it down for his son, and now he serve it to the masses.
Black mass, man, it's time to rock. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.